Students come into college not understanding what the word of means. And you guys are all like, what the hell does that mean? 45% of 11. What would you put into your calculator? Times, good. So of means multiply. Maybe it's starting to come back. For the longest time, it used to be everybody knew what of meant. And now, like 90% of the class, nobody knows, they don't know what of means. 45% of 11 would be 0.45 times 11. Because of means times. Okay. Are you guys cool with that? You guys know that?
We do know.
Okay. I don't understand how that escapes. So there's a couple things inherent in what I just said. 45% percentages are, now I know all numbers are made up by humans. Every single number that ever existed is something we made up. But they are very useful for describing things. But percentages are completely made up by humans. What's the actual number that this represents? 0.45, like I said. Because what's percent mean divided by 100?
Yes.
And 45 divided by 100 is 0.45. Of means times 11. There you go. And you can just plug in old calculator. Get whatever the hell that is. 4.95? 4.95? All right. Thank you. Now, the mistake people make. Now, let me ask you this. Let's pretend like I make $10 an hour, and I go and I get like a 10% pay cut out of nowhere for no reason. I didn't hear anything about it. I go complain, and they're like, "Okay, we'll raise your pay by 10%. You're fine." I'm not fine because I teach math, because I know that would screw me over. But some people would say, well, 10% down, 10% up, you're back where you were. 10% does not equal 10%.
No.
10% of 10 is what? Who knows what 10% of 10 is? 10% means 1/10. Exactly, because 10% is 10 over 100. 10% is 1/10 of 100%. So 10% means 1/10. 1/10 of 10 is 1. So if they cut my pay by 10%, I went down to $9 an hour.
Yeah.
When they raised it by 10%, what's 10% of 9? 0.9. Now, a lot of you guys, if you don't know this, you should be, well, back when I was making $3.25 an hour, and I know some of you guys have me beat with lower than that, but like a dime was huge, right? You get a dime raise, oh yeah, boom. So a dime maybe not as huge when you're talking about minimum wages of 70, but dime is still adds up, shit, yeah. So that's why I'd still be pissed. So the mistake people make, the classic percent problem is shirt on sale for 15% off. And by the way, if they were like, an additional 25%, so that's 40% off. No, it ain't, stupid people.
No.
Right? 15% off, it went down. 25% of smaller number is not 40% of original number. So that does not have to be 40% off. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? If there's a 15% off and an additional 25% off, that ain't 40% off. It ain't. If they're saying that shit, kick them in the knee. Shirt on sale for 15% off. Sale price is now, let me make this kind of work a little bit nice, maybe. All right, let's see if this works. $17. What was the original price of the shirt? So, the mistake people make, just to stop you guys from saying this out loud, if you do 15% of 17 and add it to 17, you definitely wouldn't subtract, because if it's 15% off, the original price must have been higher. But what's wrong with doing 15% of 17 and adding it on to get back to the original price? What did I take 15% of to get to here? The original price. So 15% of 17 is not enough. It's never going to get you all the way back to what the original price was. I took 50% of what? The original price, a higher number to get to here. So taking 50% of this and adding it back on will never get you all the way back up. That's the whole idea of 10% doesn't equal 10%. I love you guys, you gotta understand this shit, because percentages are freaking everywhere.
So would you do is over of instead?
No is or of, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm still.
I've seen some weird, the is over of I can live with, but even that you don't need. I always thought that was complete bullshit, but If you like it, you can use it, sorry. Yes?
I have a question. Why does 50% work, but 15% doesn't work?
What do you mean, why does 50%?
Because if you're like, if the shirt was on sale for 50% off, sale price is now 17, you'd be like 17 times 2. Or like double.
You didn't, all right, I love it. You
Right.
didn't, listen, you didn't do 50% of 17 and add it on. You did twice 17.
Oh, okay.
Which is not what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Half off, how do you undo that? Well, you double, of course. 50% is gonna work nice. 15%, right?
Right.
Yes.
I'm curious on your method to replace is or of. Like you said, is or of is.
We'll do it probably in a minute. Sorry. It's not, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, like, I'm not
It
offended. I
is,
just want to
but
know your
It still works.
way of doing it.
It works. And I've seen some really horrendous ways to do things, and when there's a very straightforward way to do it. I'll show you in a minute. Original price, well, how much was the original price?
We don't know.
Yeah, X. I love it. If you catch yourself saying you don't know in algebra class, that means it's X. Right?
Are you gonna pass this class? I don't know.
All right. I love it. So, I asked, real quick, I asked you on that survey, a lot of you guys haven't done that yet, by the way, do it, to do a random number, and I just kind of left it like that, and because I can identify my smart asses by the people that do like pi or 7.21114, I decided to leave it like that just to identify my smart asses. And there are other ways to identify smart asses. So, whatever the original price was, what did I do to it to get here?
Minus 15%.
Mine, I took something off. I took how much off? I started with the original price and I took what off? I took what off?
0.15.
If you say 0.15, I'm like, oh, you saved me 15 cents. Thanks a lot. That's really, that means a lot. You took 15% of what? How do you figure out the discount? 15% of
Right.
the original price. So percentages don't mean shit without the of piece. Right? If you said, well, that's just 1% of a salary, and it's like, well, wait a minute, what's a salary? $18 billion. Okay, well, that's what we're talking about, a lot of money. Right? It's only 0.1% of the overall budget. Well, the overall budget for the United States is stupid big, so that's a lot of freaking money we're talking about. If it was 0.1% of my salary, not so much. Right? So the of piece means everything. So if you just put that, I'm going to be really snarky on the thing. I'm going to say, really, just took 15 cents off? Thanks so much. This is 50% of what it is. Right? If the shirt cost $40 and it was 15% off, how would you figure out how much to subtract?
0.15.
You would do 15% of 40, right? So you would take 40 minus 15% of 40. Isn't that exactly what the hell I'm doing? I don't know what the original was, but what would I do? I'd take it, subtract 50% of it, to get where? To 17.
17.
So the people that do 15% of 17, you're applying the 15% to the wrong thing. You're supposed to apply it to the thing you don't know, the original price. What is this? What is x minus 0.15x? How many x's is this? 1. How else can you write 1? Like that? So what's a buck minus 15 cents?
0.85.
All right. And think about it this way. If I take 15% off, what percentage of it is left? 85% is left.
Okay.
And then the last step here is divide. What do you get when you divide this? 20. Yeah. That's what I try to make it come out. If you check yourself, what's 15% of 20? 3. 20 minus 3 is? Maybe. Is that cool? All right.
Is there a reverse way to do that without having to do all that? Like, because we can do 50.
Well, the thing I just said, you could start here instead.
Oh, okay.
You could start here. If it was 20% off, it'd be 0.8x equals sale price. If it was marked up by 30%, it would be 1.3x. See how it's more than a whole. It's now 1.3. So there is a slight shortcut.
Okay, so you said
Instead
that
of starting here, you can start here.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Let's see if we can make it here.
This is chapter 8 now.
This is chapter 8.
We're here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't get how we got the 1.00 next to x.
Just to make it easier, because that's written as something dot something something. So I'm going to write the 1 that's in front of the x in the same format,
Okay.
so then I can see better what's going to happen. That's all. A whole thing minus 0.15 of the thing is 0.85 of the thing. But so many people, I end up putting like 0.14 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if it was like twice the original price or something like
Then it
that.
would be 2.00. Yeah.
2.00.
I mean, really, it just comes down to how do you do 1 minus 0.15 when you line up the decimals. And then you better put something here so it's not just empty space.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, if we've seen this symbol already. What does that symbol mean? Who's it? No, the symbol. So we've done it like with this, negative infinity to 1, 1 to 4.
United.
Fly the friendly skies. No. It's union. It means or. You or you. I don't care. Hey, you. All right? Or. This means or. And the other way means, so this is or. This, if I put a bar in the middle, it would look like the letter A. This means and. And you're all like, what was wrong with the words? You know, math people, we like to write less and less, as little as we can. So watch this. I'm just going to write this problem down. I want to see how you guys react to it. Violently or what? Let me do this. Let me start with this guy. And I like it. So the answer has to be in this and in this. So what's the answer? 4.
Oh.
So I call and the mean bouncer, and I call or the nice bouncer. If you're trying to get into a club, and the bouncer says, I walk up, right? And he says, to get in this club, you gotta be rich. No. You gotta dress nice. No. You have a nice car. No. Or, you gotta know Joe, the bartender. Joe! Hey, Joe! And I go, yay, he's a nice bouncer. He's like, you only have to do one of these things. This, or this, or this, or this, or this. I'm like, oh, thank God, one of them I do. The mean bouncer would be like, you gotta know Joe. I do. And you gotta dress, no, I'm going. You got, so and restricts what could be in the answer. Because and means it's gotta be in both things. Or is like, you gotta be in either one, and then I'll let you in. Right? So who gets in this bar? 4 does. Because 4 is the only thing that does both. Right? But if that would have put an or in the middle, you got to be in this group or this group. Who gets to the bar then? All of them. How do you write the answer? -1, 4. Don't write 4 twice. 4 is in the room already. 7, 8, 9, 11. You just write all the stuff together. So or always increases the things that could be, and always decreases. So I remember back in my day, we had a financial aid office. I know we do here, but to do scholarships, you had to get a book like this big. Right? Go to the financial aid office, sit down with this book, and you start looking. You must be a math major. Check. And you must have at least this GPA. Check. And you must plan to check. And you must be a woman. Okay. And so forth. And I keep looking until you get a scholarship, right? Nowadays, you can do it all online. It's amazing. Right? So and is the mean one. It always decreases the things. Or increases the things. Yes?
So, for the or when it's like,
Yes.
how did you determine the answer again?
What numbers are in this set or that set? Well, -1 is in that. Is that one? Right. 4 is in both, so it's in that one or that one. So really, the answer to a union is just going to be everybody.
Everybody, you put
Yeah.
it into one little bracket.
Yep.
Okay.
Would I put 5 here? Why isn't 5 in the answer?
It's not either one.
Because it's not in either one of them. So it could be, he says, you got to be on this list or this list. These are the friends of Joe, the bartender, and these are the friends of the owner. You got to be on one of those two lists. 4's on both lists. He's in. -1, he knows Joe. He's like, okay, he's in, right? And everybody else is in that's in one of these two groups. Or includes everybody. And says, no, you got to be in both to get in. Very restrictive. So you will see several problems exactly like that. Now here's the next level of this. Oh, shit. There's always another level.
That's the fun level.
Oh, lived there for a little while. Let me see how I want to write this. I'll just do it. So take a minute. Can you guys take a minute and graph both of those things? Just graph both of them one on top of the other. Please do God, don't. I know you know how to order 1, 2, 3. You don't have to include them on your number line. How do you graph x greater equal to 1? No circles. We're done with circles. Circles are for lower math courses. We're in 110 now. What do I use instead of a closed circle? Bracket. So when I want to include something, I use a bracket, right? So it'd be from 1 to infinity. And what about this guy? How would I graph him? Put a bracket on 11, and then he's just forever this way, right? And you guys know that's like an arrow pointing in the direction that you shade as long as the variable's on this side.
It's kind of like a wall, but like the wall is like telling you to go the other way. Because like you can't go past 1 on the top, right? Because the
Yeah, so it says 1 is where you can't go below. This has got a floor and that's got a ceiling, if you want to think about it like that. So what's the answer then to this and this? What is the answer?
Right now.
And.
No.
So it's got to be in this set and this set. Another name for and very often is intersection.
Oh.
Isn't that where they intersect? Isn't that those are the only numbers that are in both?
Oh, so 1 through 11?
Yes, so the answer would be 1 to 11. So it's sort of like going to like a day camp, like a camp, and they're like, you have to be at least 4, but you can't be more than 12. You have to be greater than 4 and less than 12. So only the kids between 4 and 12 can go in, right? That's exactly this idea. Got to be both. 11. Sorry. A really dumb example of when do you wear a diaper is when you're less than this old and I'm greater than that. That would be an or situation. When you're less than this or greater than this. All right, sorry. There you are. So really the only way that they can make this kind of problem harder is just to give you stuff that you have to actually solve first, right? You truly don't have to draw 2 separate intervals to do this. Let's do another one that's a little more involved. Here we go. Let's do this one. Stop it. All right, you're going to go in. 2x minus 1 is greater than 7, or 5 minus 2x is greater than, you could do it, Jeff. 5 Can you do it? I don't know. Can you? What? That took a while. So I put an or in the middle, right? So don't freak out, by the way. I think this is the last topic we'll cover. I let us out a little early since they gave us a shorter break.
We have to add that 1 to the cell.
Yeah, totally. I love it. So you start solving this like you would an equation. The only difference between equations and inequalities is when you divide or multiply by negative. And we talked about that before. Do you remember?
Yeah,
The sign's got to flip in the middle. Why? Because it does. So here you divide by positive 2 so it doesn't flip. X greater than 4 or x less than 2. Let's see if we can do it all on one number line. X has got to be greater than 4, so how am I going to graph that? Yeah, what am I going to put on the 4? No. Parentheses, right? Because it's not included.
Oh, okay.
What did you used to put if it wasn't included? Open circle. So what do we put now? Parentheses. Less than 2 would be. And since it's or, that's why both of them were up there. It says you got to be here or there. I'll include both of you. And says you got to be in both pictures to be included in the answer. That's why it was only that. And always restricts what the answer is, or always makes it more, right? Because it's taking stuff from multiple places.
So the graph would be the answer?
Yeah, now how would I write this in interval notation?
It would be
2 infinity? Or 2 negative infinity?
No.
Negative infinity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
that's
to 2. And then
Or
4 infinity? Oh,
Does
okay.
it matter if the line is darkened or dotted?
when you shade it in.
You draw the line in the direction of.
oh, this as long as you show which side the answers are on. Normally it's by shading. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like when you graph, sometimes you gotta dot that out.
Oh, you're thinking about when we're going to graph lines and say like y greater than x plus 2.
Yeah,
That's not what we're doing yet. This is just a single variable.
okay.
We're going to get double variable stuff soon.
But to show, for full credit, you have to show all that work though, like the graph and then.
Yeah, you got to do the algebra,
And then the graph.
graph,
And-
interval. So very often I'll
Okay.
say, solve this, graph them, do them in interval notation.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool, sounds good.
totally cool.
As long as you make it clear.
Yeah. I got you. If I don't say it, then you can argue, well, let's see. I think that's, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up through 8-2. I think that's pretty much what I assumed for the practice test anyway. We're going to do 8-2 at the beginning of Monday. And then the rest of Monday will be devoted to review. I'll have the answer key for the practice test on Monday. Right? I'll have the quiz graded, which you can correct. That could be part of what you do on Monday. Yes?
You said 8-2. Isn't there 8-3?
There is, so that's going to be on the test, the next test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to leave enough room on Monday for review, so we'll just push the 8-3 to the next.
But we still have to do the 8-3 homework by this test?
By the next test, yes, totally. I'm not
Okay, I'm-
cutting it out, I'm just pushing it forward. Yeah. All right, I think we can leave a little extra early today, that's fine.
Because the roadmap says that this one has to be done by this test.
Yeah, real quick, guys, real quick. Practice test, you do it or don't, it's up to you. Please, dear God, don't turn this in, I got enough paper.
Okay.
This is totally you. I'm going to give you the answers. So don't turn this in. Don't do these problems like 8 times. Because then you know that problem. I'm not going to give you this problem. I'm going to give you a problem like this problem. So I remember the very first time I taught, I did a practice test, mostly just to see how to set up a freaking test. Gave it out. The kid said, I got a D in your test, and I did your practice test like 8 times. I'm like, well, that's stupid. So now I got to remember, don't do this problem 8 times. It doesn't make any sense. If you have trouble with it, go find it. Do other ones like it. All right.
You've got the practice test.
Yeah.
Can
That's true.